Hey, today we take a look behind the scenes at what I carry in my camera bag as a tennis coach. As right now I'm in the process of packing for another trip away, and I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone as I get tons of questions about the camera equipment that I use. And to make this video more valuable to you, I'm gonna give you some tips and advice for filming your tennis matches or training, whether you're a player, a parent, or a coach. Before getting into the detail of the video, I want to say a big thank you to PGY Tech. I've bought 2 of their products, which you're going to see in this video, and as a result of that, they kindly sent me a third product for me to test and review. So PGY Tech, thank you. So first of all, I'm going to show you the bag that I use to carry my camera equipment. This is from PGY Tech, and it's called the One Go Shoulder Sling. It's 10 liters, you can get a smaller size, but this for me is ideal as I used to carry my camera equipment around in my tennis bag, and clearly that's not the best thing to do. Now, there are lots of reasons why I love this bag. Number one is in the back compartment here, I keep my iPad. Now, my iPad is where I do all of my video editing, so this is pretty much my entire workflow in one bag. I use an iPad Pro 12.9 inch, so it's pretty big in size. I do actually think you can fit a small laptop in there as well. Then if you go around here into the front pockets, you've got this big open compartment, which is a very safe and sturdy way to store all of your gear. But this fits in a pretty large camera. Sorry, that was my alarm to book my tennis courts. I'll do that in a second. In that main compartment, it's very modular and you can adjust it to whatever you want to put in there. What I love is this hard case here has got a section for your batteries. And in that section for your batteries, you can see there's 2 little magnets which show you whether your battery is charged or whether it's empty. So really nice little touch there. I'll leave links in the description to all of the products that I'm going to talk about in this video. They're not affiliate links, so I don't get any compensation for them. I'm just helping you guys out. Video is super valuable for a tennis coach or tennis player. As a coach, I've used it for years and years to help players to understand what they need to develop, whether that's filming their matches and looking at their game tactically, or filming shots and looking at their game technically. This instant feedback is invaluable for any tennis player. Now, when it comes to filming your tennis, the best camera that you can use is the one that you already have, which for most people is your smartphone. Now, I used my smartphone, which is an iPhone, for the first 2 years of this YouTube channel. And to be quite honest, for most people, your smartphone is more than enough. The video quality on smartphones nowadays is incredible. So if you have a smartphone, you're all set to go. Now, my 2 pieces of advice when filming on your smartphone. Number 1 is to make sure that you have enough battery. And number 2 is to make sure that you have enough storage. These are the downsides to filming with your phone. And if you are somebody that wants to film whole matches over an hour or 2 hours, then you might want to consider a slightly different camera. This is where I'd consider something like a GoPro, as they're made for filming over longer periods of time, and you can use external storage, which we'll talk about shortly as well. An action camera like a GoPro is also tiny, so it's really inconspicuous when filming on tennis courts, but always make sure that you get your opponent's permission if you're filming a tennis match. Now, I've actually upgraded my camera a couple of times since starting this YouTube channel, and I'll show you which camera that I'm using and why I'm using it later on in the video, but for now we're going to talk about the necessities for a tennis player or tennis coach when it comes to filming their tennis. After your camera, the next necessity is having something to mount the camera. Now, this really depends on what type of videos you're going to be making. If you're filming tennis matches or you want your camera to be still, then a tripod of some kind is important. For me, the first tripod that I got was this one. This is called a GorillaPod, and as you can see here, this has a mobile phone attachment at the top. The reason why the GorillaPod is a great tripod for you if you're a tennis coach or tennis player is these movable legs. Now, these can wrap around the net post, these can be hung on a fence. They're very, very versatile, and they're pretty solid as well. You can move the camera angle like so. So yeah, it's a really good tool. Now, I keep this actually in my tennis bag at all times, but I actually upgraded to a slightly more robust tripod for the purpose of using my slightly more heavy camera that I'm filming on now. Now, this is actually another product from PGY Tech. I bought this about a year ago when I upgraded to my slightly heavier camera, as it's much more sturdy than the GorillaPod. Although it's not quite as versatile with the legs, it guarantees me a steady shot. And you can also hang it up on the fence, and it's got this internal iPhone mount as well. So yeah, this one's really, really versatile. This is great if you've got a heavier DSLR or mirrorless camera, but if you're just shooting on your phone or a GoPro, then this is great. Now, if you are filming tennis matches and you want to film from a higher vantage point, then I would thoroughly recommend the functional tennis fence mount. This product is great as you can hang it at the back of the court on top of the fence so that you can get more of a bird's eye view down onto the court. So on your checklist, you've got your camera, you've got your tripod. The third thing to consider is the audio. Now, this isn't important for everybody. However, if you're planning on publishing your videos, whether that be on YouTube or on social media, or if you're a tennis coach that wants to send videos to your pupils and you want to be professional, then audio is vital. And that's something that I really underestimated when I started my YouTube channel. But hopefully you can hear the difference in my videos nowadays. Having clear and crisp audio really makes for much more enjoyable viewing, especially if you're talking in your videos. Now, if you're filming indoors or in a really quiet area, then actually the in-camera microphones on your smartphone are generally very, very good. However, if you have any background noise or any wind whatsoever, that is where the internal microphone will start to fail. The first microphone that I bought was this tiny one here from Shure. It's called the Shure MV88 and it comes in this nice little pouch. And as you can see here, it's a very small microphone with this foam topper on here. Now, this foam bit is really good wind protection against wind, but if you take it off, you can see that it's a very small shotgun mic. This is a directional microphone that is great if you're talking to the camera. And as you can see, it's got this lightning adapter at the top, which plugs straight into my iPhone. Now, to be honest with you, I always keep this foam topper on because it really improves the quality of the audio. So if you're using your iPhone to film, this is thoroughly recommended. Great audio quality, whether you're speaking to the camera or if you're filming a tennis match and you want to get crisper audio of the sound of the ball being struck. Now, if you're not using your iPhone and you're using a GoPro or you're using a camera like the one I'm using here, then you might want to consider a shotgun mic. Now, the one that I'm using, I'll show you in a second, is called the Sennheiser MKE 400 and is the one that I use on this camera all of the time when I'm filming my tennis matches or training, as it's amazing for wind protection. It comes with this, which is called a dead cat. This is what you put on top of the microphone to really protect it against wind noise. However, I haven't actually ever used it as the wind protection built into the microphone is already incredible. Now, the final type of microphone that I would recommend for anybody who's talking in their videos or for anybody that wants to talk at the other end of the tennis court is a lavalier mic. Now, you might have seen this clipped onto my clothing when I'm doing my usual videos outdoors. The reason these are great for speech is because they're pinned close to you, it picks up your speech perfectly and takes out most of the background noise. This lavalier or lapel mic clips onto your clothing and is attached to this transmitter here. This is called the Comica Boom XU, and this wirelessly transmits to the receiver, which is usually attached to the top of my camera there. This set actually comes with two of these, and I've used this in interview situations where I'm talking with somebody else. As I mentioned, lavalier or lapel mics are great for speech, but not so good if you're trying to record a tennis match with background noises. That's where a shotgun mic is going to be more valuable to you. Now, before I show you the camera that I shoot all of my most recent YouTube videos on, let's talk about external storage. Now, if you film on a GoPro, an action cam, or a mirrorless camera like my one, you're going to need SD cards. Now, these are what store all of the footage from your camera. Now, I've got about 5 of these, and I used to store them all just in the side pocket of my tennis bag, which is clearly not the safest thing to do. But recently, after buying the PGY Tech tripod, they actually reached out to me to send me their new card case / card reader. Now, this thing is really cool. It's made of rubber, and if you push the button here, you can see that this card reader storage pops out. Now, this holds 4 SD cards. You've got space for 4 micro SD cards, along with a couple of SIM cards and a SIM card key as well. But that's not the coolest thing about this. If you take out this USB-C cable, it actually plugs into your laptop or your iPad so that you can transfer your footage from your SD cards onto your device. Now, for me, this has been a bit of a game changer, as what I was using before on my iPad was this dongle. And as you can see, it's pretty flimsy, and I was always knocking it, and halfway through transferring my files, it would fall out and I'd have to start all over again. This connection is far more stable, as you can see here, and transfers the files at high speed. So if you're like me and you want to keep your SD cards organized, this is a great product from PGY Tech. So finally, let's talk about the camera that I'm using now. Now, when I started the YouTube channel, as I mentioned, I used my smartphone for everything, but I'm a bit of a gadget geek, and I was really enjoying the process of learning how to film and video. I watched tons of YouTube videos, and so many recommended to me the Canon M50, which was my first mirrorless camera that I bought. Now, I was filming with the Canon M50 from around a year and a half ago all the way through to the start of this year. And in my opinion, that camera is probably one of the best value cameras for the quality you get from it. However, I did upgrade that camera earlier this year. I set myself a challenge to reach 20,000 subscribers on this channel, and if I did, I was going to upgrade my camera. Now, I actually bought this camera secondhand. This camera is the Sony a7 IV, and I'd had my eyes on this camera for a long time. Unfortunately, one of my friends had that camera and had recently upgraded to an even better one. Now, the benefit of having a camera like this as opposed to an iPhone is the option to change lenses. The other main difference that you'll see when somebody is shooting on a camera like this is the shallow depth of field, which means the subject, which in this instance is me, is much sharper than the background. You should see here, even in this video, that the background is slightly blurry. And for me, aesthetically, I just like the way that looks. And nowadays, you can artificially get this on your iPhone anyway in cinematic mode. So if that's something that you're looking for, check out the new iPhones, they're pretty good. So there you go. I'm gonna finish packing my camera bag for my next trip, which is to the French Open, which I'm really excited about. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about any of the equipment that I use, or even if you want to know more about my workflow when it comes to editing these YouTube videos. Thanks as always for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.